And the news that happened yesterday, not long after we concluded the show, the first blast was that Daniel Jones, top 10 pick by the Giants in 2019, got a $40 million a year contract cut during the 2024 season, finished the year with the Vikings. He was choosing between the Colts and the Vikings. The Colts and the Vikings. And it didn't take him long to choose because in one place he's got a chance to play. In the other place, he was likely going to be number 2. And I was told over the weekend, Jones isn't going back to Minnesota unless he's going to be the starter. Well, he ain't going to be the starter, so he ain't going back to Minnesota. He goes to Indy to compete with Anthony Richardson. 1-year deal, $14 million. $850,000 of it is tied up in per-game roster bonuses. They consider that part of the base, but if he's injured and misses half the season, he's going to lose $425,000.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's not a firm $14 million, and that's not a great number. That's not a great number for a veteran quarterback. That doesn't scream starter, but he's going to have a chance to compete with Anthony Richardson, and we see which guy wins.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, again, I don't think there was a lot of options out there. It was either kind of be the backup, maybe you could start for Minnesota, or, yeah, you go to Indianapolis where they're not going to pay you a ton of money, but you're promised you can compete for the starting job. There's no question about that. I have mixed feelings about this, Mike. I do. I know we've discussed this a lot. I am a fan of Daniel Jones, right? I've gotten to know him, so maybe I'm a little biased, too, just because of the personal meetings. I also just feel for him and feel like he got a bad shake up here in New York in the football aspect of things, like we've joked about, like you joked about a little bit yesterday, right? So the first thing that comes to mind is, yeah, I get it. I get he went to the Colts, and I know he has a chance to start. I'm not going to say as a guy that's rooting for Daniel Jones if I necessarily think that's definitely the best option. You've heard what I've said before. Right? This is a guy he's got scars on him. He's been through battle. He's been crapped on mercilessly up here in the New York area.
Hopefully not literally.
Yeah, hopefully not literally. But like blame for everything. And as we know, and as you joked yesterday, obviously it wasn't him because when he didn't play, it wasn't like things weren't good. They got worse. Right? So there was a part of me that thought, hey, go to Minnesota. Be with Kevin O'Connell. Kind of recalibrate. Get your body fresh. Get your mind fresh again. Get in a spot where when you do get a chance, okay, I'm in this spot with a great coach, talent around me, and I myself feel confident in what I am and what I can be, right? So that's why I like Minnesota. With the Colts, there's a little bit, yeah, you could start. Awesome. But if we get to and here's the other thing. I have a training camp. Daniel Jones is going to be better than Anthony Richardson in training camp. He's going to be better. There's no doubt. He's a pro. He's a great thrower of the football, the way training camp goes. So now I look at it and go, well, gosh, he'll probably be the starter. And if you don't get off to a good start, you're going to get crapped on again, and you're going to get put in a box of basically we're not sure what you are going forward. So you hear what I'm saying here? I know this is a good conversation. There's a lot to unpack there, but that's at least my original long thought for you there, Mike.
Yeah. The reality is football players want to play.
I know.
He saw a path to playing in Indianapolis. But again, the money isn't really
right.
all that great. And it's funny, one of the conventions for those in the business who are trying to get that little nugget of news 5 minutes before it's announced will feel compelled to grease the agents, not just by naming them in their tweets, but saying things like solid deal. And I saw that from someone, I can't remember who, not in the mood to fight with anyone, but solid deal at a Starbucks or elsewhere. Solid deal. It's not a solid deal. For a quarterback with aspirations to play, at least get some stuff in there, some real upside in there if you do win the starting job. Push it to $25 million if you somehow win the starting job. This is not a great deal for $14 million.
No.
And to your point, like how much less do you think the Vikings were offering? They paid Sam Darnold $10 million last year when they knew damn well they were going to draft a quarterback. Like, were the Vikings that much south of 14? And do you want to play so badly that you go to a team that we really don't know what they're going to be this year, and we don't know how good of an opportunity Daniel Jones is going to have to thrive? You don't just want to play. I'm agreeing with you on this.
Yeah.
You don't just want to play.
Right.
You want to play well.
Right.
You want to be able to stick it to the Giants and prove them wrong. And to your point, are the Colts the best option for him to do that?
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to be unfair.
And is he ready?
Jonathan
Is he
Taylor,
ready
Michael
for it?
Pittman,
But yeah, I hear you. Right.
But I mean, why wouldn't he be ready for it? That's what I'm curious about. Like, what more does he need to do to be ready to play again?
Well, I just feel like you've been beaten and battered for 4 years in New York, just constantly. You've been beaten, battered physically, constantly. So it's mental, physical. There's things that you're going to go up with Kevin O'Connell and be there for a year or wherever else or something like that in that type of position where you're gonna learn certain things about football and reading coverages and nuances about little things on the offense that are going to make you a better player. They're going to make you a better player. He's going to teach you certain plays, and you're going to go, I never had anybody really teach it to me like that and think about it like that. And, you read this to that. That changes, that blows my mind. Okay, well, I'll be better at that play going forward now that he taught me that way, right? So that's what I mean a little bit. Now, Shane Steichen's awesome. I get that. He is, right? And I'm a huge fan, as you know. But at the same time, I don't think it is the Minnesota Vikings offense with the weaponry around it. And yes, I just look at it and go, I think there's a few more negative possibilities. Like you just talked about, we don't know about that team. It looks like we got a coach and a GM who are on the hot seat. They're done if they don't do well this year. They just got rid of a center and a starting guard. And within that, like I said, there's already a bad aura around Daniel Jones. Hence why $14 million to be the starter is really all he's going to get and is the maximum he's going to get. Nobody wants to bring him in, and the fan base is going to be like, oh, Daniel Jones, you got him. It's the savior. I'm sure people in Indianapolis today are like that. So as soon as he falters or missteps or anything like that, I just feel like the world is going to pile on him. And that's the only reason, I guess, is what I'm saying here, Mike. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's something that I thought about and I've been thinking about as far as this conversation.
That risk is going to be there wherever he is, though, once he plays again. He's
got
to play, and he's got to play well to shut up everyone who is ready to say Daniel Jones sucks. And it's going to take time, and it's going to take effort. And I think he would say that those things you were talking about that you can pick up from Kevin O'Connell,
right.
We picked it up in the 2 months he was in Minnesota.
Maybe.
He's had his epiphany, and Shane Steichen is no slouch, as you've said, and they do have some great players there, even though a couple of Colts starting offensive linemen are now in Minnesota. They could slap hands
right
as they cross paths in the airport.
Right.
Yeah. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.